Your book, The Tunnel, deals with the subject of dementia, but you yourself are still here in your 80s, you're writing books, you're active. So why did you pick on dementia as such a key topic?
No, dementia, first of all, it is a sign of our time because we are living more years, so dementia is becoming a malady well known. And we had a friend, Amos Oz and myself, Yehoshua, who had dementia. He died just a few months ago, and he had a dementia, and we could follow him how it was started. He's a very nice writer and a very dear friend, and a very charming person. The way in which he was absorbing the malady, the way he was facing it, gave me the idea to use it as a element in the book, especially the fact that I wanted to put the idea of playing, idea of stupidity, not the idea of darkness. In Hebrew there are two words for dementia, kihayon, shitayon. And kihayon meaning something dark that is falling on the person. Shitayon is something vivid. And in a way, shitayon is also when you see we are on the fourth elections in 2 years, you can say that the country is in a certain shitayon. Right. I did not know that the country will follow my book.
But can a country have dementia? Can a society, an Israeli society, can they have dementia?
Yes, of course. There is dementia. It will not be considered clinically dementia, but it is a dementia. When you see the political scene in the last 7 months, it is a dementia. The dementia is also good by also forgetting. I am a little bit too much worried about the fact that the Jews are putting remembering as the center of their identity. The way in which we are sticking to remembering is becoming dangerous. Instead of seeing what is happening to the future, what will happen around us, people are remembering. You see it on the political scene all the time. People are taking elements from the past and putting them as an elements for quarrel, for attacking. All these things is becoming a little bit a kind of obsession to stick to, and it is good to remember. Right. And look upon the future and the present.
You, of course, were a pioneer of the peace movement in Israel. You were an advocate of the two-state solution well before it was accepted. But in recent years, you've moved to promoting a one-state solution. Some people say you're going more to the left. Some people say more to the right. How do you see it?
Because I don't see any possibility of evacuating 400,000 Jews that are already in the West Bank. I don't see the possibility of partition in Jerusalem to two capitals. I don't see many things that are impossible. We have seen what was happening with the evacuation from Gaza. How difficult it was from Gaza to take 8,000 people, that's all. How dramatic and how traumatic it was for us. I don't see any possibility to do it. And they are doing all the time new roads and new settlements and new here and new there, etc. And I don't see the Palestinians that were ready to come to a kind of a compromise that the Jews will say, okay. So there is only one solution, to continue in a kind of an apartheid state. This is the only solution. I am 50 years I was for the two-state solution. From the beginning, from the first day. So when I say I gave up, it's not by pleasure, not because I have done another vision, or not because I don't see the problems of the one state. But still, I don't want to live in an apartheid state, in a kind of a silent apartheid state, because it seems that it is not apartheid state, but it is apartheid state. So I see that we have found already a kind of a formula of two binational kind of a state. People are asking why this conflict is already for 140 years. 140 years, this conflict. And now, why this conflict that is so much invested, so many people trying to solve it, and it is not solved? Because it is a unique conflict that is on the same territory of the two sides. The two sides want this small piece, all of it. And I believe that we can have the possibility of keeping our identity without any problem, because we kept our identity in so many countries in the world. We kept our identity living among non-Jews all over the world. We cannot keep our identity in Jerusalem.
You've made very provocative comments over the years about the Jewish community in the diaspora, in the American Jewish community. You've called them partial Jews. You said they almost live in a kind of neurotic relationship with Israel. What do you mean by that?
I didn't believe that to go to a conference of the American Jewish Committee once a year, this is how you fulfill your identity. Identity is composed of many things. If you will say, what is the identity of this house? You will say the way in which the furnitures were chosen, the way in which it was putting this big room was instead of having more rooms, things like that. The identity is from the many elements that are composing the material. And this is the identity. And of course, the fact that in the Israel, we are responsible to each other. In diaspora, Jew is free from another Jew. No Jew can impose upon him nothing. While here, we are living in a society in which, like all other societies in the world, you can impose upon you. You can send me to a war I don't want. You will send me to evacuate a settlement that I don't want. You will send me to guard a settlement that I don't want. I have to pay taxes. If you are sick, I have to take care of you. This is a totally different kind of relationship, and the identity is created by the way in which this relationship are developed and done and changed all the time. It's not going to the rabbi in Saturday and hearing about Jewish value. What is Jewish value? Jewish value is in the way in which a soldier is putting the angle in which his rifle is aiming on a Palestinian demonstration, like this or like this. If he shoot here or he shoot there, this is the value. The value is decided here. And this is like all over countries.
Over the course of a half century, more than that, you've turned a very critical eye on Israel in your writing. Are you today more optimistic or pessimistic about Israel's future?
I am optimistic. I am generally optimistic because we have first of all, we have done the peace with Egypt and Jordan. This was extremely important. I think that with the Palestinians, we will find a way if we will give them equality. Even we give them equality. They don't want to be Jewish, and the Jews don't want to be Arabs. This is not two communities that want to assimilate to each other. Finally, they have their identity. They are connected. This is not immigrant. They are people that are living here. They are connected to the land, and we can find a modus vivendi with them. And till now, the experience with the Israeli community, the Israeli Arab community, is a good example. It's for the honor of the Israelis themselves and the Israeli Arabs. And I was always saying that the fact that an Arab judge had sentenced the president of Israel to 7 years of prison, nobody was saying he doesn't have the right to do it. He was doing George Kara, the Arab supreme judge. So we can find a way with them. But we cannot live within apartheid. It is impossible. It's poison. It poisons us. Some of the poison that is penetrating to Israel itself is coming from the territory.
Aleph Bet Yehoshua, thank you for joining us on i24 News.
Thank you.